What is going on, everybody? Brent Abel here at goldballhunting.com. That dude over there is the great Jeff Jacklich again today with the round red
Yeah,
readers. I guess I don't know if they're readers. Are they just? I mean, do they actually have
they
anything
are.
in there, or are they just kind of like making
Yeah,
a
it's not.
making a
It's not.
Hollywood
Yeah,
cool?
there's actually stuff in there.
Okay,
It's not
cool.
like who was the comedian from years ago? He was Silverman, the guy that wore the big dark glasses, and they did a regular series, and he would go on like Merv Griffin and stuff with the glasses on, and then he would just scratch his eye going through
Oh, I see.
and just see if anybody noticed.
I love it. I love it. Guys,
Anyway,
thanks for hanging out with the Comedy Hour again.
yeah.
This is Gold Ball Hunting, the podcast. Guys, hang in there with us today to the very end because we're going to continue our conversation with you guys about how to actually, quote unquote, play the game. So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us who never played in the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Brent Abel, and along with my biz partner Jeff Jacklich, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting podcast. And Jeff, what's happening, my man?
Hey, just another beautiful day here in Moraga. It's
Moraga.
fantastic.
Yeah, well, as the high school kids at Camp Linda like to call it, Boraga, as in, Boraga. It's just like, because there's nothing to do. I'm going, hey, man, look around. It's beautiful there, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Got a great school system. You got all the stuff. You got all these sports, you know. Okay, I get it. It's a little bit
Yeah.
boring. It's not quite like San Francisco or Berkeley or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, okay, we're still here in Steamboat. Expecting a little snow tonight, which is going to be fun
Nice.
for a few days. We're going to go up on Rabbit Ears Pass, I'm sure, tomorrow on Friday, and do a little hiking. Mai's got the snowshoes. She'll be able to put those on. We'll take Bubba out, and it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be good. I want to.
How does the big guy like the snow?
Oh God, he's just like, it's like, could I
Getting the
just
candy
live
store?
out here and kind of, because he's one of those dogs. He'll all of a sudden you get all shaky and the tail starts going crazy, and then
Yeah.
he starts running and he's just got this thing. He puts his snout down the snow. And
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a snowplow, and the snow is just blowing up everywhere. And he comes up and he's just shaking his head. He just loves it. It's I'll take a video of it. So guys, listen. Yesterday we had an in-depth episode. Jeff was talking a lot about one of his students that he was working with the day before, and really it kind of got down to this thing about learning how to play the game as opposed to just thinking you got to be a shot maker. And I ended up yesterday's episode, Jeff, saying that before I got to Mr. Stowe, that was my thinking, is that, well, maybe the way I get better at playing the game, becoming, not really that, but maybe as a better player, winning more matches, was to really spend a lot of time on stroke technique, and that would be the thing that would kind of put me over the next horizon. And it didn't quite work out that way. And so I got together with Mr. Stowe. I've told that story, how that all happened. I got really lucky, though.
Right.
I got really lucky. And I was in a group with three other guys who were at the time. These three guys were all in the top 5 of the men's open NorCal.
Right.
Which, I don't know how it is now. I'm so far out of that age group. It's light years ago. But it was really good tennis. I mean, back then in the 80s,
Oh.
my God, the level of men's open, I'm not dissing the girls, but I'm just saying the men's open was just incredible.
The depth was off the stinking charts.
I mean, if you were number 41, you were thinking, I'm pretty good. I
got on the list.
Yeah, that's right. I made the ranking list. I wasn't making the ranking list. I was down below the.
Yeah.
I don't think it was even. They even had that category was called insufficient data, which we're not really quite sure what to do with you. But so anyway, I got together with Mr. Stowe, and that was up in Napa, and with those three other guys, Doug King, Steve Stefanke, and John Hubble, and they were all top five. And then there was me. And my thought when I first was with Mr. Stowe was it was about learning the Stowe strokes, the big, flat thunder bombs, and the margin of error over the top of the net was really not too much, and it was a flat ball. It didn't end up being flat. I mean, there was a little top, but then finally we started working on the forehand approach, and I continued to think, well, this was like another shot technique thing that if I learned the forehand approach, that was the end. That was kind of the end of the means of what I was looking to do. And so we'd work on it. But every time he'd say, well, no, after you play it, I want you to move over here on the court. And I'm going, okay, all right. I'm thinking, I didn't know why, but I'd hit this thing, and then I'd kind of trot on over, okay. And he'd go, that's good, that's great. Now let's do it again. But this time, let's kind of make it all one continuous thing, right? We're going to hit this thing up the line and just end up here in this part of the court. And so then he would get one of the other guys, one of the top five guys. And even though the top five guys knew where I was going to play this approach shot, I would move to this next part of the court, and he'd say, all right, guys, we're going to just play the point out. And I'd go, okay. So boom, I'd hit it over there, not any harder than what I'd been doing in the drill. And I'd move over there and I go, oh, well, that's an easy volley. Okay. And then I'd do another one and move over there and go, oh, that ball was wide. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm going, something's not, come on, man, it can't be this, right?
Right. Who's pranking me?
Yes. Where's the camera? Come on. Yeah. And really what Mr. Stowe was teaching me was that learning how to play the game, quote unquote, was really a combination of what shot choice can you make right now or that enables you to efficiently move to a court position that the combination of those two things creates a different level of degree of difficulty than just being a solo shot maker. And I got to tell you, I mean, once I learned that, I started to realize that was sort of my natural. I'm starting to get in the 35s then. So I'm still a young buck, right? I mean, I still have the one asset or the one commodity asset that everyone at that age has got, which is speed and movement, right?
Speed, athleticism, right?
Yeah, unless you've had some kind of horrific injury younger, everyone's got speed. And so I just said, well, maybe this is the deal. And it's just play the shot like so now I had this freedom. I no longer had to think about, well, how do I become this great shot maker?
Right.
And now all that burden was taken away from me because I knew there were secrets about becoming a great shot maker, and that God, I don't know if we'll ever discover them, or I don't know if I've got enough time. How much time have I got to put in the ball machine? How much time have I got to put into drilling? Because I could see that from where I was to go to like a world-class shot maker at 33, 34 years old, okay, probably never going to happen. And yet I want to become a better player. So when he gave me that thought of that, look, this is how you play the game. It's a two-step process. It's play the smart shot, not the low risk, not the highlight shot. Play the smart shot that allows you to get to this court position. And I know that's what you were working on with your student a couple of days ago, which is what's lacking. And he's a 4-5, solid 4-5 guy.
Yeah.
Got all the tools, meaning the shots inside the toolbox.
Right.
But it's really the combination of learning how to play the game is this combination, guys, is shot choice plus where's the next best court position to move to. And if you're on the offense, okay, well, that's a certain court position. If you're on defense, that's a certain court position.
Right.
And so
in my evolution, it became the term we used was opportunity with Shermy. It's like, okay, we need to step up the serve and not just hit it harder or with more spin, but we need to step up the serve in accuracy. And so once we took that step on, then that just it made me look like I couldn't miss a volley because the balls I was getting back, a little less pace, they floated a little more and all that. So then using speed, my volley, it became, the weapon of choice, not because my serve was some, magical bomb that I was just banging aces. It was just, we had paid attention to this one detail that created opportunity and made me look like a genius at the net.
Well, look, I'll bet the house that what Shermy was really helping you do was not thinking, number one, that to step it up meant that you got to hit a bigger serve. That He was helping you with accuracy, but by doing that, he was helping you get more efficient coming out of the service motion in terms of footwork to move to the next best court position. And to me, that's where it's all related. Like when Mr. Stowe was working with me on this forehand approach, part of the technique was to hit it in a way that I really efficiently was able to now move to the next best court position. And I think too often what happens with guys is, you can take either one of those two situations. The forehand approach where guys think I want to hit it bigger so there's no way it's coming back. Right. Or I want to hit the serve so that probably not coming back. Well, all of that, trying to hit bigger, trying to get better with stroke technique so so that there's a higher probability the ball's not coming back, means that you've now taken away the efficiency to move to the next best court position.
Right.
And that to me is that's where I think players get stuck in terms of how to play the game.
Yeah. Everything's it lives in that one and done kind of category.
Right.
That every shot is its own singular entity, and it's disconnected from the progression of how to build a point.
Right. Yeah. And I think that as we get better in terms of learning that concept and learning how to play the game, is that you start to be able to, through experience, we talked about this yesterday, there's video, there's a professional who can analyze that video, there's an on-court guy who kind of gets the whole senior tournament league thing. And now I've lost my thought of where I'm going to go with this thing because I had to put that in there. No, I know what it was. Is that we start to recognize certain situations that are not really just shot and move to the next best court position, but now it's because you've done this so often, you've played so many practice sets and so many tournament matches or league matches, you now go, when I go there, most of the time what happens is this, and then I play this shot, and then there's one more thing I need to do because it now turns into a approach, volley, and then there's probably going to be one more. And that's all from experience in terms of learning how to play the game. That it's like you said, it's not just one and done as a shot maker.
Right. Seeing the reality of how a point unfolds when you actually have a task in mind. Right. And the construction, why am I hitting it there and that, seeing it unfold so that that ultimately is it's a sub layer of what percentage tennis is. When you've played enough matches that you start to actually see the patterns no matter who you're playing. Yeah. That in general, when I do this, the ball tends to do this. Yeah. No matter who I'm playing. Right. And those are the things that the better players, the top players, that is, again, another sublayer of what percentage tennis is. You start to understand the geometry better. You start to understand the likelihood. Most of the time, the ball comes back over here when I do this. Most of the time, and so you start playing a much cleaner brand of tennis because you're not worried about ending the point.
Yeah,
well,
one of the things that you mentioned about your guy a couple of days ago is, like we said before, got all the shots, but was unclear after hitting a shot to a certain part of the court. Let's take a lefty forehand groundy, for example. The intention might be to go up the middle. And right. That's pretty clear, right? If you go up the middle at the guy, you're pretty clear as to where to move to next. But let's say that your intention is to go up the middle, but you're a hair out in front, and all of a sudden it's an unintended opportunity that you've now got this guy stretched out, lefty forehand, you've got him stretched out into the ad court. Now your intention was to go up the middle, which would mean that my next best court position is here.
Right.
Now all of a sudden your next best court position unintentionally is somewhere else.
Right. And the monitoring that moment too means, okay, that's in the scenario you just painted, I actually have to cover, even though it's a great opportunity, I actually have to cover a little more court. I got to close the gap on my next position.
That's right.
Right. So it is playing enough matches to realize, that the ebb and flow of movement from, point A to point B is not static either. It's not always the same energy input. It's not always the same speed from point A to point B because it's a moving target. The ball, and your opponent decides to do something that they haven't done all match.
Yeah,
and so it's a constant flow of information coming and going. And like I said, the best learning environment is tournament ball, without a doubt.
Yeah. I agree. Well, look, a lot of players, I totally get it, working full time, doing whatever. They're working full time. They got the family. They got the young kids at home, right? And so they're their time is limited in terms of being able to play tournaments. And so, their outlet for competition that is made public, which is basically the players that we want to work with. If whatever the arena is, whether it's tournaments, whether it's leagues, whether it's a public thing, maybe it's at the club, right? Those are the guys and gals who we want to help. Is you guys who are matches are made public, whether it's online, whether it's posted somewhere, whether you, like we said yesterday, where you play a practice match or a couple of practice sets, and we go, all right, loser has to. I thought that was brilliant what you said. I said winner gets to put it up on the blackboard inside the clubhouse. You took it one step further and you said loser has to put it up on Facebook and go, man, I lost to Jeff today. All right, God dang it.
Damn it.
Yes. With a little selfie of him smiling and you not smiling. So right. Those are the kind of players we want to work with. Jeff, where are we? We're almost 18 minutes here. I think we need to shut down today's episode.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, what I want to talk about tomorrow is an epiphany I had, and as we just talked about unintended opportunities, it really kind of, boom, I had this thought of this match I played where I was playing against a serve and volleyer. And I had this epiphany on my return to serve that I want to talk about in tomorrow's episode. So, guys, look for tomorrow's episode, because if you're playing against serve and volleyers in singles, I think this will be something that you want to listen to. Guys, before we send you away today, a couple things. Number one, we've been mentioning the kind of players that Jeff and I love to work with, and we'd like to find out if you are really a candidate to become one of our private one-on-one coaching students. And really, those are for the guys who are playing tournaments, guys and gals playing tournaments, stuck at a certain level. There's that big concrete wall. I get through a round, but now all of a sudden there's this wall. I just cannot get over it. And or league players who really want to up their skill level in terms of, I want to get to that next NTRP rating label. We want to help you. And the way to do that is to start with a free call. 10, 12, 15 minutes, whatever it takes. Let's get on a call and see if we're a fit for each other to make that happen for you. Just go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address. You will get then immediate access to our online calendar scheduler where you can pick a date and time that works conveniently for you. Jeff, what would we like to find folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes and Stitcher, rate and review. Goldballhunting.com, share it with a friend.
Outstanding. Guys, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, we're doing this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.